My name is Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on Earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. And when I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney, with other UK fans like me who make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So if you too are mad about Mickey, then this is the podcast for you. Or maybe you're the Disney novice just thinking about or planning your first ever trip to Walt Disney World and you still haven't tried the grey stuff and you don't know how it tastes. Well, don't ask the dishes. This is the podcast for you. Every week, I'll be chatting to other Disney superfans from all around the UK to share their memories of their magical times and some great tips like this week's guest, Chris.
You can sometimes cheat it slightly and try and double up your Fastpasses.
I'm also going to be answering your Walt Disney World questions, getting the latest news from the parks, and if you're heading over to Orlando in the next few weeks, all the essential information you need to know for the most magical trip. And make sure you follow us on social as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Look out for @PodMagical. This is the most magical podcast on Earth as part of the Secret Recordings Network. This is Andy. I hope you're well. We have decided to continue with regular weekly podcasts. Obviously, as we know it at the moment, Walt Disney World is closed. The doors are closed. The world is a bit of a crazy place, but we need a little bit of magic in our lives. So I think it's quite nice. It's a bit of escape. At least once a week, we can still talk about Walt Disney World. We can talk about our memories. We can look forward to things. And also, Disney Plus launches this week, Disney's online streaming service. So we've got a news special coming up in this podcast. We're going to have a look at some of the good things, if you are a fan of the Disney parks, that you can watch on Disney Plus. You can keep in touch with us as well. We're still here to answer your questions every week on the podcast. If you've got a holiday to look forward to later on this year or maybe next year, who knows? Anita is looking for a little bit of advice. Going to be staying at Caribbean Beach. I don't think we get to the hotel till late. So what can we do on our first night? Got 3 kids, 7, 9 and 11. Strange names for kids. My suggestion is, well, it depends whether you've got park tickets or not. If you've got the 14-day British park tickets and you're staying at Caribbean Beach especially, I would try and get a fast pass for the first night for Fantasmic. Now, there's probably not much point getting a fast pass for anything else just in case you're not there, but you should be in the parks, even with a late flight, you should be in the parks for the time of Fantasmic. I like Fantasmic because I think it's everything that Disney is about. You get the music, you get the characters, and you're sitting outside. It's a great way to keep awake, and you're only 10 minutes on the Skyliner from Caribbean Beach. So I would suggest that is a great thing to do on the first night. That's one of my first things to do. Also, maybe if you've not got park tickets, but you're staying at Caribbean Beach, yet again, jump on the Skyliner, head over to Epcot. Don't go into Epcot. Have a little bit of a walk around the Boardwalk, which is really nice. There's a bit of entertainment on there. Maybe get a pizza or an ice cream and have a bit of a walk around. Maybe have a look at some of the hotels around there. If you want, you can go over to Disney Springs, but I always find first night, Disney Springs feels like a bit of a trek. It always feels like a long way to get there. And when you're coming back, you just feel like, I just want to be back in the hotel now. It's only 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, but I'm really tired. So previously I would have said Disney Springs for a first night, but I think that's wherever you're staying, it feels like a bit too far out, unless you're staying at one of the Disney Springs hotels just across. But that's my first night recommendations. What are your first night recommendations? We've put this question over on our Facebook page. Just look out for Podmagical on Facebook and leave your comments there at Podmagical. The same place to go if you have a question that hopefully we can answer for you. And if you would like to be a podcast guest, like this week's guest, Chris, just give us a shout. Time to get some stories, tips and memories from this week's podcast guest. Don't forget, we've got a brand new guest every week. If you want to be a guest, give me a shout. If you want to share your Walt Disney World memories, and don't forget to subscribe for our brand new guest every Friday. Chris is with us this week. So Chris, the question I always start with, why do you love Walt Disney World?
I think it's just sort of the escapism of it. It's a 1 or 2 week holiday or 10 days where you can literally have your mind completely taken off what's going on in the world. You can just enjoy nice food and the friendly mood that's there. People are so much more likely to ask you how you've been, where you're from. And I just love it, really. It's everything about it, even the good weather. Everyone's on holiday. And they're just... The feeling is fantastic in the whole parks and the whole place.
Now, you got back from your last trip at the end of January, so not too long ago, which I want to find out more about first. But when was your first trip?
First time I ever went was September 2013. So end of September, start of October. I got to admit, it was my wife. She'd been when she was a lot younger and she was really into it. And I sort of went along with it, and I was going to keep her happy, really. I'd also booked a nice American car for me to enjoy, and we booked a trip down to Miami, and I couldn't have been more wrong. It only took till the first day for me to realise that this was for me as well.
You realise the pressure of going, we must go, and you're like, okay, I'll go to keep you quiet, but then you like straight away you're going, okay, I get it now.
I would have been the typical partner who didn't quite get it and looked at all, the price of the holiday and thought, this is a lot of money for a holiday. But yeah, I couldn't have been more wrong.
So did you stay on site for that first one, or did you stay off site with having the car and going to Miami?
We stayed off site. We stayed on site, and we stayed at All Star Sports.
Yeah.
And that was, even in the brochures, it looked a little bit, it wasn't to my liking, but actually when we got there, it was so nice. And I couldn't have been, it was just a place to crash and to sleep. And yeah, it couldn't have been more perfect for that trip, really. We didn't do a dining plan that time, but we had the car. So we went off site and went and ate a lot. And yeah, we probably were only in the room literally after fireworks till getting up in the morning, sort of thing, first thing. So we didn't spend much time there, but It was perfect for what it was. All the benefits, and not that expensive, really. Yeah,
when people say it's just a place to crash, it literally is. When you get in at the end of the night and you just fall on the bed until the following morning really at 6 o'clock when you're getting up again and you're off out again.
It's just quick turnaround and back out again. Yeah, and the having the TV with the Walt Disney World today, is always nice. So.
I put that home on YouTube sometimes.
So I do as well. Yeah,
glad it's not just me.
Yeah.
Now, so that was you and your wife the first time you went. Now, when you went earlier this year, slightly different. Who went?
So it was the addition of my son. So he was 16 months old when we went.
Wow.
So we took him at 6 months to Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
And I thought that would cure the itch. And it was really good. And it was my first time in Paris. But he was really good with it. And therefore, it kind of got back and just wanted to... I just wanted to take him to what I would call the real thing, really. So when the free dining came up and the $200 gift card came up, I knew what was the normal room price, and I thought it came up as a good price, so I had to book it. I wasn't quite, I should have thought about it a little bit more, because he wasn't, at the time of booking it, he wasn't walking, he wasn't really moving, but he quickly got to that. So that was, but he was really good for the whole thing. So
how did it change the planning of your holiday? Obviously, when you go and it's just two adults, you can be out first thing in the morning till after the fireworks. I'm guessing it's a completely different trip this time round.
It was. I got to the point where I effectively only planned the morning. So he's really good at getting up, but from the afternoon, I wasn't sure how he was going to be with jet lag, with, parades, whether he'd get overstimulated or whether he'd be able to sleep in his pushchair so I literally just basically planned out the mornings. I knew where we were going to be, which park we were going to be in, got all my Fastpasses in for first thing in for the morning section. And it worked really, really well, actually. And he did a lot better than I could have anticipated. And it meant we ended up doing a lot more than I thought it would even be possible.
Yeah, so planning the mornings, but then keeping the afternoons free. So you're not under any pressure to go, we've got a fast pass at 5 o'clock and we must do it. Going, okay, we can just sit in the hotel or we can do stuff.
Yeah, in the end, it wasn't much different it wasn't all that much different to when we did it ourselves. I mean, we were back we didn't make fireworks sort of every night, but we made it at least two of them, and also went into Disney Springs. And I think it did help. He would crash out in his pram, in his pushchair. So that really helped. He'd still get his 2-hour nap in the middle of the day.
And where did you stay that time round?
So we just got back. We got back from Port Orleans French Quarters. Only got the one bus stop, so that was really helpful. When the buses turned up, they were empty, and as long as there wasn't a giant queue like there sometimes was for Hollywood Studios when we were there, you just walk straight on, basically. The riverboat connection to Disney Springs is really nice. It's a much nicer way to sort of get about, and it sort of makes a bit of an event of just travelling even to Disney Springs. It's the first one that's had the water transport that I've stayed at. We stayed at Coronado Springs for our second holiday, but I say French Quarters was perfect, really. Really quiet, everything close together, and really nice theming and stuff. So
it's quite nice if you're having a Disney Springs day, even if you're not staying at Port Orleans, either French Quarter or Riverside. It's quite nice as part of your Disney Springs day just to jump on a boat there and just have that ride and have a look around the resort and come back. It's quite a nice thing to do.
Yeah, I would suggest it to anyone, actually. And I did. You can obviously, it only takes a few minutes actually to walk up along a really nice path to Riverside as well. So although they're separate resorts, I'd look at them almost as the same ones, because I wouldn't have a problem walking up there for dinner or whatever. So not that we did, but we did walk up that way.
As we're talking about places to stay out of all the Disney hotels, have you got a favourite? Would it be French Quarter?
It would be French Quarters now, yeah. I like the theming. It was really well presented. Our room, I think most of the rooms had been revamped fairly recently, so it was big television, very clean, and fantastic, really.
And you're on the dining plan?
Helpful. Just the quick service dining plan, but that also worked with being flexible, because we had a reservation at the start of the holiday, and all I booked was I just booked the sort of be our guest for breakfast on the first day. Quick service, and again that meant that we could be really flexible. We can just grab bites to eat, and actually I was really impressed with some of the options that you could get on the quick service, because Disney Springs, there was still quite a few restaurants which aren't particularly Disney. They don't look like they're Disney owned, but you can still use a quick service.
Yeah,
so
most
really
places
good.
A quick service. Yeah, there's a lot of quick service. So you've got Deluxe Burger and Blaze Pizza and Polite Pig. Some really good quick service places down at.
Two of them were we definitely went to. We did Polite Pig, which was absolutely fantastic. The sharing platter there was really nice, and also Blaze Pizza was, for what you can do to it and the size of the pizza, it was really good value for a quick service dining plan. And also some of their sides can be used as snack credits. Yeah. So that was really nice as well.
And you don't have to tip when it's quick service. Even better.
No, that's true. Yeah. With Polite Pig, because it is an order at a counter, but then they bring it over to you and they serve you beer, they do ask if you wanted to add a gratuity, and they were very helpful, so I did do on that. But again, I think it's still not compulsory or anything.
So do you have an ultimate favourite restaurant at Walt Disney World?
I really liked Epcot in the
Epcot.
Japan Pavilion. Yeah. That in Epcot, that was fantastic. And Yak and Yeti, both sides of that, the quick service and also the sit-down restaurant, is very, very nice. And we've ate at both now, and we really like it. So, yeah, I'd definitely go to both of them. But there's so many good offerings.
Yeah.
We're still working through. We've not even scratched the surface.
And what about favourite dish? At Yak and Yeti, for example, what would you order? Or did you vary every time?
The honey chicken was fantastic. You can also get from the quick service, and I think the last time I was at the restaurant I had the steak and shrimp there, which was absolutely lovely. So, and they do some nice frozen drinks as well, my wife tells me. So, and
of course when you're on the dining plan you can have the alcoholic beverage as well.
I didn't make as much use of it as some people would, but and they don't even shy away from telling you that now as well. They're very, very forthcoming with telling you that, what is on offer. They really do try and help you get the most out of your dining plan, which is really good.
We'll get some more of your Disney memories very soon, Chris, but right now let's do a slightly different news update. This is where we usually take a look at what's going on in and around the parks, then in news from Walt Disney World. But this coming week, the 24th of March, sees the launch of Disney Plus in the UK. This is Disney's online streaming service. So you get all the Disney stuff, the Disney films and Pixar and Star Wars and Marvel. But I thought, as this is a podcast for people who love Walt Disney World and Disney parks, what can we find on Disney Plus to fulfill our geeky needs if we love Disney parks? Well, there's quite a few things to look out for on there, so I thought I'd just give you a few of the shows to look out for if you get in Disney Plus, if you love the Disney parks. Starting off with the first thing that I will be watching. Forget the new Lady and the Tramp or High School Musical or anything like that. The Imagineering story is where I'm going first. This is an insight into basically how our favourite parks and how our favourite rides were created and still are created. So you know that there's a basketball court inside the Matterhorn in Disneyland. We get to see in that. On the first episode, we get to see the creation of Jungle Cruise, where they're driving around in like old 60s cars. So where the boats go, they're actually driving around in cars going, we'll put this here and we'll put that there. If you love Disney parks and the creation of rides, the Imagineering story should be top of your list if you are going to be getting Disney Plus. Also on there, One Day at Disney. This is a 52-part mini-series. So each episode's only about 5 minutes long. And there is a book that goes with this. And this just doesn't look at Disney parks. It does have a look at a lot of what the cast members do at Disney parks, but it also looks at cast members throughout the world, whether they work in Disney stores or on Lion King on Broadway or on ABC television. It focuses on different Disney cast members around the world and what they do and what they did on this one particular day at Disney. So that should be on your list as well, One Day at Disney. And also on Disney Plus is Disney's Fairy Tale Weddings. Yes, you can really dig deep and start imagining what your big day, your dream day would look like through the eyes of some very lucky couples who've tied the knot at some of the Disney parks around the world. Yes, even in front of the castle at Magic Kingdom, you can get, if you've got the money, you can get married anywhere at Walt Disney World. And on Disney's Fairy Tale Weddings, this series goes behind the planning, the preparation on the magical day of some people at some of the resorts and on Disney Cruise Lines as well. So there's a few things to look forward to if you are getting Disney Plus, which launches on the 24th, and you've got The Mandalorian with Baby Yoda and things like that. If you haven't yet signed up to Disney Plus before the launch date, there is this very special offer that Disney are doing. This is not an advert for them. This is just me telling you, if you want to save some money, $49.99 if you sign up before the launch. And if you're on top cashback, they're also doing a £15 cashback on top of that launch offer. So basically that comes to less than 35 quid for the year. And if you've got any good top tips of anything that you find on Disney Plus when it launches next week, then do let me know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we are at PodMagical, which is the same place to go if you would like to be a podcast guest, like this week's guest, Chris, who's been with his wife before he had the little kid, and you've been with your son as well. So out of all the times you've been, favourite memory?
It would have to now be my son frantically clapping at the end of his first time watching Happily Ever After, as everybody, you know, the look on his face was absolutely fantastic. He hadn't got a clue what had just happened, but he loved it. And yeah, he couldn't contain himself. So that would probably be up there now. But yeah, just there's so many good memories. You can pick good ones from each time, but that would have to top it now.
And when it comes down to rides or attractions, have you got a favourite?
It's a big tie, I think. And depending on which day, I would say either Expedition Everest,
yes,
or Tower of Terror. Expedition Everest was the very first ride that we went on when I went the very first time. So that was the moment at which I realised I would probably got it all wrong and I didn't understand what Disney was all about. And it was even the theming in the queue and just the sort of storytelling on the actual ride. It's not the most extreme ride in Orlando, but the theming and how it gets you going and is just fantastic. And then Tower of Terror, I just absolutely love the drop in that, and the whole theming of that as well is just fantastic. There's some big contenders now as well for even just for the top 5 with what's offering now with Rise of the Resistance and Flight of Passage as well. That they certainly, the top 5 would be really difficult to choose now. Did
you get to go on any of the bigger rides, having a little one with you? Did you get to use Rider Switch at any point?
Yeah, we used Rider Switch really quite heavily. They seem to be doing it now as they award you a bonus fast pass.
Oh, okay.
So you literally go up to the people at the entrance to the ride, so you don't even start queuing, you say, I would like to ride second, and whoever's riding second, they tap your magic band, and you can go off with your little one and go and do whatever you want. So the first day I went there, we went to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I went on it first, and my wife went and did Winnie the Pooh with my son. And then we swapped over, and I went and did Little Mermaid with him. So it was a really good use of time. There was, even if you're queuing, the other person can be doing something completely different and not waiting or staying. And it works really well. In fact, you can sometimes cheat it slightly and try and double up your Fastpasses. If you go up to them with not long left on your Fastpass and say, we've both got Fastpasses, but we need a rider switch. Sometimes you can get your Fastpass and get a rider switch in all in one go. It was quite useful. So my other half managed to ride back-to-back Flight of Passage.
Oh, wow.
With Fastpass, which was fantastic.
Did you get to go on the new Star Wars ride? Did you get to do Rise of the Resistance?
I did. I did it 1.5 times.
1.5 times?
So, yeah, I unfortunately got evacuated off it, which wasn't a problem. It's in a really safe place. There was no problem. But it had, the day when I went on it, had a few issues. They'd called our boarding group, and then it sort of was down, but they were still calling boarding groups. But in the end, I got on it, and unfortunately it did break down halfway through.
So you were actually on the ride, the physically moving bit?
Yeah, on the physically moving bit, yeah. So they pulled you off. It's nice and easy, and they evacuated. And then guest relations were all there ready to deal with any sort of queries, and they were so helpful. They could see that I've got a little one, so they even gave us the option that if we wanted to come back tomorrow, they'd honour our boarding pass for any time the next day.
Oh, wow.
In the end, we did both actually ride it that afternoon, because we were still in the parks, and used it effectively as a fast pass, and we went through what will be the fast pass queue, and it worked really well. And the ride is so complicated, so amazing, that I can see why it will have teething problems, but if you've got to ride it, it's so worth it. It's fantastic. And I'm not a particular Star Wars fan. I've watched a few of the movies, but if you were a Star Wars fan, I think it would be Nirvana, really. But
you still wouldn't say it's your favourite ride now you've been on it?
No. The coaster and I still want the physical thrill of a coaster or something like that. But for something that a whole family can go on and be jaw dropped, it's fantastic. It really is. It is the most involved and most complex ride I think I've ever seen. Or ever heard of. It's just fantastic.
Outside of Walt Disney World, did you get to go anywhere else, or did you just stay in the Disney bubble?
This time, we literally stayed in the Disney bubble. We only went for a week. We used Magic Express to go from the airport. We used the buses. We literally just stayed in the bubble. And for the holiday we were in this time, it was absolutely fantastic. The previous two holidays we've been on, we've had a car both times, so we have gone off site. We've done Universal, we've eaten on a lot of we really like Cracker Barrel breakfasts. We would go out and do other things all over, but we haven't ventured off. We do still tend to stay around Disney quite a bit.
Yeah. I'm guessing as well that keeps costs down. If you go in with a little and you're staying in Disney and using the Magical Express and you've got the free quick service and using the internal transport, you kind of know what you're paying for then. There's not really anything else to pay for, is there?
No. And also when we were there, we also had a $200 gift card for because we were quite an early adopter to the offer. I noticed that did go down to 100 afterwards. When we got there, we also got asked if we didn't mind not having our sheets changed, and that awarded us another $60 gift card, which was absolutely fine. They said we can still request towels and still have our bins emptied, and as we were only there for a week, I didn't think it was too bad. And also I went and did the DVC tour, the Disney Vacation Club tour, and that got me another $100 gift card as well.
Oh, wow.
And it was something I wanted to do anyway. So we did really well out of it. In fact, actually, with a little bit of Christmas money that people had given us in dollars, I changed no money myself at all, which was fantastic.
Right, so you were $360 up from the start.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, it was really good to do.
Any other top tips for anybody going, especially they're going with a little one?
Do what we did. Although we were able to do more than I thought, it would have been really nice if we hadn't to not have to change plans too much, but just to keep it to the times when you know your child is going to be okay. And also stay on UK time. If you're coming from the UK, you're going to naturally want to be up at 5-6 o'clock in the morning. So just be okay with it. Get up, get to the parks for rope drop and really use those first hours, which is when you can get the most done. And actually you'll get most of the things that you want done, and then it makes the rest of the holiday much more relaxed, actually.
Yeah, definitely. And are you planning to go back soon? Have you got your eye on another visit?
It's next one, I'm not entirely sure. It's going to be either 2 or 3 years, and the next time we're hoping to go back with family.
Okay.
So potentially my mum and dad and my sister, her other half, and their little girl, we will think will either be 8 or 9. So that's going to be a completely different holiday again, but I'm really looking forward to that as well. But I've got the task of booking all of that, and the pressure. So.
And do you think you'll all stay on Disney, or do you think it might be one of those where you get a villa outside and commute in every day?
At the moment, I'm thinking that I might try and do 5 days to a week in Disney, just to get some of the benefits, the 60-day Fastpass window, and some of the extra magic hours, and then maybe a week, so a split stay, a week then in a villa to do some of the other things. I mean, we've never been over to sort of the Kennedy Space Centre, so I'd really like to do that, but that could be done in sort of the second week when you're in a cheaper villa. And certainly for that number of people, the villas, I can definitely see why people want to do it.
We'll speak to you in 4 or 5 years then when you're back from your next family trip.
Definitely. Yes. Yeah.
Lovely talking to you, Chris, and have a magical day.
Have a magical day.
Heading over to Orlando later this year. Is it on your plans? Have you started to make notes already? Here's something to add to your notes. Andy's top tip of the week this week. This has been mentioned a few times on the podcast over the last few weeks, but I thought it was worth just mentioning again. Pack cheap stuff that you can stock up on and take with you. So I'm talking those last minute bits and bobs before you go on holiday. You know the stuff you get from the pound shop? So things like ponchos. You can probably get about 10 ponchos in Poundland for the price of one at Walt Disney World. Buy it, pack it, take it with you, even if you have to chuck it away when you're there. It's better than paying over the odds park prices. Same goes with other things as well. Cereal bars, pack some cereal bars, maybe that first morning if you're up before anywhere opens, or you just want a little snack. Even if you're on the dining plan, use your snack credits for things that are costing $6 and $7. Have a cereal bar in the morning, take it with you, pop it in your pocket, take it to the parks. So pack those little things that you may not need but don't cost much. That is my top tip of the week this week. Don't forget, we're back with a brand new podcast every Friday, a brand new guest every week that will always bring something new tips, new stories. So make sure you're subscribed, then you don't miss a trick. And there's plenty of other podcasts to go back through. 40 podcasts now if you want to go back and listen to previous guests. We are way back there somewhere. Keep scrolling back and make sure you hit that subscribe button on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And until next time, please stand clear of the doors.